the Flying Scotsman arrives in Perth. The world's famous steam engine, the Flying Scotsman, coasted into Perth this afternoon, marking the end of an historic journey across Australia.
Northam's country railway station was jam-packed. They'd turned out to see the world's most famous steam train, the Flying Scotsman. Locomotive 4472 was running a bit late, so the crowds entertained themselves. Excitement was building. The old steam train grew nearer. The legendary loco chugged into the station. For train buffs, it was steam heaven. Gordon Nietzsche was a firer on the Flying Scotsman back in the 1940s. He stoked the train's engines for 11 years. 2 years ago, he retired in Western Australia.
I said goodbye to back in the 1960s and the railway.
So how does it feel to see it here now?
Beautiful, it really is fantastic.
There's something about the Flying Scotsman that leaves train lovers lost for words.
It's difficult to see. You've just got to experience the power and the beauty of working with these engines.
The Scotsman was the first steam train to record more than 100 miles per hour. It clocked up 2 million miles before going into active retirement. This afternoon, 4472 rolled into East Perth Station, completing an epic journey across Australia. It was cause for celebration.
At the end of its Australian tour. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
A lifetime this afternoon as a locomotive legend steamed into Perth. After a history-making journey across the continent, the world-famous Flying Scotsman puffed in at 4:20, 20 minutes late, but there was a good reason.
It's taken 8 days, but the epic journey is over. Locomotive 4472, better known to train buffs all over the world as the Flying Scotsman, glided down the platform for a meeting with an old friend, the Pendennis Castle. And amongst the thousands of people who turned out to welcome her, an appropriate musical greeting. The Flying Scotsman left Sydney on September the 9th and travelled across Australia without any assistance from those newfangled diesels.
You'll never do away with steam. Steam will never be taken away from diesel because it's too good.
Norm Miller scored the driver's job for the last leg, down from Merredin. Along the way, a typically British welcome from some Rolls Royces from an era the Scotsman could remember. And memories for Norm Miller too.
It brings back a lot of memories. It's a bit of a thrill to get on a machine like this.
In her day, the old girl was one of the fastest on the rails. Today, though, she's getting a little slower, as you'd expect from a grand old lady.
She's a little bit sick, but still she come down on 5 cylinders. Makes a funny noise, but she got in.
And that wasn't the reason she was late. In fact, she had to wait at Midland for the prospector to go through before steaming into Perth. But as Norm Miller says, a couple of days of TLC and she'll be ready for the day trips planned for next week. Like all steam trains, she's a lady not to be underestimated.
They're a girl all their own. They got their own working pace. You can't boss these like you can a diesel. They'll boss you first.
Arrival of the world's most famous locomotive. The Flying Scotsman ended its epic 8-day journey across Australia just a short time ago.
There have been big changes in transport technology since the Flying Scotsman was state-of-the-art. But one thing hasn't changed, and that's getting there on time. And after 8 days across the continent, the legendary locomotive was right on time, through the Avon Valley and into the home straight. There was a huge crowd awaiting the Scotsman's arrival in Perth this afternoon. Thousands lined every available vantage point to cheer the end of an epic journey. The Flying Scotsman will be in WA for 10 days of charter work, including trips to Northam and 2J next weekend. Sean Murphy, Eyewitness News.